We are back.
Oh, heck. I love the intro music. I finally get to hear it.
That's true.
All right. Well, welcome back to another edition of Live Feed Read. I'm Paul Reed, your host. The Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, Jason Crawford, live from Tallahassee. It is what, August the 21st, a little bit after
Yeah,
one
wow.
o'clock. Temperature outside says 91 degrees, still hot here in Florida, and will be for a while. All right, let's jump right into this. Pat Hogan, who does I think our website or something. No, he does our website. Sent me this what do you call it? Where you cut and paste this uh, site
Okay.
or whatever uh, called Attorney Referrals, and he said you maybe you want to talk about this. And I read it because it seemed kind of mundane at first. I'm like, holy Lord, look at the answers that this
Mm,
person got to their simple car crash question. And then, as the title of this one is, the Brittany crash, uh, I can tie them both in
okay.
together. So on this one was says car crash. It says it's been a week since I was. This is Florida. It's been a week since I was hit by a driver who appears to be 100% at fault. Their insurance has the dash cam footage of the accident and the video. Driver allowed me to record admitting it was his fault, but they still haven't accepted
Okay.
liability. My car is unsafe to drive. I paid for Ubers at first, but they became expensive, more expensive than renting a standard car. So I rented one out of pocket to go to work. If the insurance company eventually accepts liability, are they obligated to reimburse my reasonable Uber and rental car expenses during the waiting
Okay.
period? Has anyone in Florida had this
Okay.
happen? Now, I'm going to read one of the answers, which was just unbelievable. It's because it says it's from so and so
Okay.
law. So I'm assuming
Wait,
it
so
might
this
be a
is
lawyer, but it
a
says,
like a just like an online forum people go to and just ask
I
generic, or is
believe
it?
so. I believe so. And it says Reddit
Oh,
in the
yeah.
top
Oh,
left
they're on Reddit.
corner.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
That's a
All
that's
right.
a,
So fair enough. And so the answer was if they accept liability, there's a chance you can be reimbursed. And we're talking about the Uber and the rental
mm-hmm.
car. They may also have rental coverage on their policy, though it is not legally required they do. Okay. Number one is whether or not the person that caused the crash has rental coverage is irrelevant to you.
Okay.
Rental coverage is if my car is damaged, then I can get a rental car. It has nothing to do with who's at fault in the
Okay.
crash. It's just simply my car's damaged, it's going to the shop or otherwise totaled, and we've got to wait a period of time. I can get a rental car. It does not pay for the other person's rental.
Okay. Okay.
That was the first. I'm like, obviously, this person here who answered has no clue what they're talking about, which is important why you want to contact a lawyer who knows
Yeah.
what the heck they're talking about and in the field
A
and so
hundred
forth. But
percent.
I'm not going to beat that horse. So, number one, rental car coverage basically you use in case you can't, utilize your vehicle. It's in the shop or you're waiting for the insurance company to decide whether it was totaled or not. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
got that. Now, in Brittany's case, and I'm going to Quentin
Oh boy.
guarantee you first, the best $10 or less that you can spend, buy that rental car coverage on your insurance.
Okay.
And you may say, well, why? I'll tell you why. Now, this is where Brittany comes in. So Brittany was in a crash, and her car was a Land Rover, about 100 grand. Okay. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, so the person that pulled in front of her from one side street going to
Yikes.
the other had a $10,000 policy.
Ouch.
Obviously, obviously, that ain't going to cut it, right? So you have to look to your own insurance basically
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everything. Okay. And here's the kicker. They were talking about it took a week to decide liability. Well, first off, in my opinion, all these adjusters, they're working from home and they're in no hurry. But you want to know what will make them hurry
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
paying your rental car. Because they all know in the industry, rental cars, let's just say they get a deal with Enterprise or Alamo or whatever, and maybe they get a 25 or $30 a day deal. Well, if you paid $10, for that coverage, and they're up to 800 to $1,000
Yeah.
on your rental, do the math.
They're
That's
upside
a
down on that.
loser
Yeah.
for the house. That's a loser for
Yeah.
the house, the insurance. So they are much more aggressive in resolving your property damage claim when they're paying for a rental car.
Ah, right. You're putting them on
Right.
a clock.
Now, let's no, well,
Okay.
exactly. And they're losing money every day because you paid $10 for that rental car
Got
coverage.
you.
It's
Oh,
very cheap.
interesting. Interesting perspective, Paul.
Now,
That's interesting. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. And I'm telling you, everybody's like, oh, I don't have it. You
Mm.
should, because it kicks them in the
Mm.
hiney. All right, now number two. Obviously, this person only had a $10,000 policy. Brittany's car was 100 grand, give or take. And they're not, at this point, they want to decide the insurance company, her own insurance company, whether we're going to repair it or total
Right.
it. And so that took a little over 30 days for them to decide. Wow. Okay, Brittany did not have rental car coverage, so they were in no hurry.
Okay. Okay.
Now back to this question: will the insurance company reimburse me for my Ubers and my rental? Right? If you don't, the answer is no. Brittany didn't have rental. Her collision covers her car. And so if she had to rent a car, she could have theoretically gotten reimbursed from the at fault, right? But the at fault only had $10,000. So there's no way, given that there's $100,000 that Brittany's insurance has to pay out, that Brittany's going to get her money back, because her insurance company is going to want that 10 because we're out $90,000. Sorry about your luck, Brittany. We're taking that 10.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's say Brittany had a $5,000 in damage, right? The car could be fixed in 2 weeks. She didn't have rental car coverage, and she went and rented a car. Well, now there's enough coverage left under the at-fault policy to pay your rental.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me stop. Florida, okay, that's fine, because Florida requires you to have $10,000 in property damage coverage. Right. Meaning if you're at fault,
that's
have
your
to have
minimum.
a minimum of 10,000. Right, which covers the damage to the car and a rental if the other person needs it. All right, so let's just say, like in Brittany's case, it was 5,000. Right. Well, there would be 5,000 left to pay for a rental.
Right. Okay, so you're saying that if the total of replacing or repairing went toward repair, not replace, and that was less than 10, you would still have some left over for the rental. Got it. Okay.
For your rental. But when you get above that 10,000, and your insurance company has to basically pay under your collision because there's not enough, well, then you're not getting your rental money back.
Right. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Because your insurance company's already on. Yeah, not that I care about insurance companies, but they're already taking it on the chin because the person that caused the crash doesn't have enough to pay for the crash, and now we've got to do so because of the car's is damaged more than $10,000.
Yeah, that was something about the answer that bothered me, was that the question had so many parts of it, and I was well, what state are we even talking about? Where you live matters.
This happened in Florida.
Yeah. But I mean, the attorney or the person that was lawyer replying, I don't know if they know, or if because they didn't start their answer from, it depends on what state you live in, because there's different laws. To me, those things should be a given starter. If somebody doesn't start there, and you're you could be in Alaska or California, any state, answering these things.
Yeah, your rental, no matter what state you're in, if you have rental on your policy, that pays for you to rent a car. Yeah. And then the next one, another attorney, which he is correct. He says a week might seem like a long time, but it's not in this
Hmm.
business. Honestly, if you can get your property damage claim wrapped up in 30 days, you've done a pretty
Okay.
quick job. Yeah. And it depends on which insurance company you're dealing with. Although I'm not a fan of Allstate when it comes to bodily injury claims because they're very difficult, I will say when it comes to resolving property damage claims, they're one of the better
Hmm.
companies to be dealing with.
Interesting.
State Farm and some of those others. Um, and then it just goes, either basically downhill from
Okay.
there. Uh, but as far as the crash goes, yes, if you have to rent a car yourself, you want to make sure real fast that there's at least enough coverage from that other person to pay for that rental car, or else you can get whacked for 1,000
Yeah.
bucks quickly because the insurance companies get a deal at the rental car company. We do not. You walk up, you're not getting a $25 a
Right.
day deal,
Right. Right. Right.
period. But because they do
Right.
volume, they get a good deal.
Yeah.
And remember, if it's the minimum 10,000, you be concerned. Now, think about it. If that person had 25,000, well, then you got a bigger amount of money to deal with for your rental. If it's 50,000, you got even more money. So it's kind of need to know what the property damage coverage is from the other person first. How much damage is done to your car, or is it totaled? And then depending on those numbers, you might have to end up going with your insurance because there's just not enough
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's why you want to spend that 8 to 10 bucks on rental car coverage. Again, best money you ever spent. And I can tell you what, that 30-day time period where they don't really care because what do we got to lose? You go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
I got used to it because they're like, oh, 3 days have gone by. You got to return the car. And I don't know how many times we've got to call and say, you haven't made a decision on our client's car. They're not returning it. Call Enterprise and extend the loaner,
Yeah.
extend the risk because they're very aggressive on not wanting to pay rental car fees.
Yeah, I recently had a friend tell me the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now. and I was like, well, this kind of seems to fit that as well. Like if you're in the throes of the mistake, the time to take care of this was a year ago. But
I couldn't
if you're
agree
listening,
more.
yeah,
And
do it.
yeah, just yeah. And then you can go online or call and say, "Hey, add rental
Yeah,
to my policy." I'm telling you, it's literally ten
yeah,
dollars, but it can save you the biggest headache because here's another thing. Let's just say the person does have enough
yeah,
coverage, right? It could still take a week for you to go without a rental car because they haven't decided
yeah,
yet. Maybe they want to wait for the police report, see
yeah.
what it says. They want to get a hold of their insured, meaning the person that caused the crash. Sometimes they
Right.
don't cooperate
Yep.
with them.
In the meantime,
Okay. And they may, if they say there's a police report, maybe there's a witness. They're looking for ways not to
yeah,
pay you. And so they're not in any hurry to run out and put you in a
right.
rental. So let's just say 5 to 7 days goes by before they accepted liability, and you're a single individual with no real family or friends where they can
Yeah,
loan you a car. You may be out a car for 7 days unless you go and spend $10 or less for that rental on your
yeah,
policy.
yeah. That's worth it.
And then you go down that day, you call your insurance company. My car's broken. I need a rental. Which company do you use? And give them a
Yeah.
call. Because remember, rental is a no fault situation. If you're at fault, you can still get a rental. If you're not at fault and you have the coverage, you can still
Okay.
get a
Yeah.
rental.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That it is. Of all the money people blow on different things, I don't know how many times, a great majority, you don't see rental car coverage on the
Yeah.
policy. Huge mistake. And I can tell you, a lot of the stress relating to getting into a crash is not having a replacement vehicle to drive to work, pick up the kids,
Yeah,
go to
the
the grocery store,
disruption.
the doctors. Otherwise, all that can be alleviated for $10 or less.
Well, when you put it like that, jeez.
Well, that's how I
Yeah,
put it,
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
We tell the people in TV land the truth. We tell them the
yeah,
truth,
yeah, yeah. That's great.
and that's
That's
the
important.
truth. Because I'm telling you, people freaking out. I don't have this. Well, I get it, and they're still investigating. What's there to investigate?
Yeah,
I'm like, I know, and it's all would be alleviated if they're driving around their brand new rental
yeah,
car, and it's being paid for, guaranteed, because I spent what? Yep, $10.
yeah. Dude, how this is kind of a different note, but like how what a mark of the times that we expect things so immediately. Like
Well, that's the kicker.
before you got
I know.
carbon paper copies of things people are having to file and then send over to whatever through the mail and get here and receive that. Like
Uh,
now we expect it
let
tomorrow,
me.
today, ship it by 4 a.m.
So
Like
I had to give blood today because of my knee
yeah,
surgery next month, right? So we're sitting there, and the lady, in the little room where you got the little chair and the table, and she's typing in all the codes to the insurance company,
yeah.
whatever. And she hit enter. It might have taken 30 seconds for that to
The
kind of
system.
go through and pop up the
Yeah.
okay. And she was like, "Oh, I just can't stand this. This is so
Oh,
slow."
yeah, yeah,
And I remember my buddy Johnny from Chicago in law school when
yeah.
we started in 1993. The whole internet was
I know,
just
right?
beginning. And we had because I think he had a computer, one of the big ones, like the old big
Yeah, yeah,
TVs.
yeah.
And you would, unless if you wanted to
Oh
download
no,
a
bro.
picture, it probably took, and I kid you not, 10
Yeah,
minutes. And you would see it go like this.
yeah.
Zzz, 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 zzz. And if I tell you, and you didn't think anything
No,
about it.
that was
Hey,
it, bro.
look, our picture's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Now, if you click on it, that picture don't pop up. Like the computer's
bro.
broken.
Seconds. You're bouncing to another site. You're
Yeah,
gone. You're gone.
that was
It
that
is
was
so
pretty
wild.
funny. Is that yeah? I mean, just I need this
Yeah.
yesterday. And back in the day, um, thank goodness, we have electronic filing, meaning you can draft your complaint, whatever pleading you want. You go into the Florida e-portal and you file it, and it goes out to where it needs to go.
Hmm.
Back in the day, you had to hire a
Yeah.
runner.
Yep.
Somebody would come in
Yep.
to the office, grab your pleadings. They would have to then go down to the clerk of court's office in
Mm-hmm.
Hillsborough or Pinellas
Like
or
delivering a pizza.
wherever you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had to get in line then, and they had to
Yep.
sit there and
Yep.
file it, and they had to pay the filing fee with a credit card or
Yep.
however you did it, and it's just unbelievable. Like you said, these kids today just no
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah. We're not immune to it ourselves,
But
though. With the way that we expect things immediately. Yeah. It's
oh
not just
no,
the kids, but God bless them. They don't know any
I
different.
couldn't.
Like I remember what you're talking about. I
I,
remember. I've seen it. AOL, Netscape. Where is
yeah,
Netscape? Like not a thing.
yeah. Well, and then what was funny is these kids, all those buttons on the top of the
Yeah.
keyboard, that was how you
Yeah.
did things. F
Yeah.
something. One was the print, one was the
Yeah.
save, one was
Yeah.
this. I mean, there was no such thing as a mouse.
Yeah. I was working with a young guy recently, and I was
In
okay.
fact, hold on.
Sorry.
In my book, where the God sent Jesus sent back my paper.
Oh
Remember, it got
yes,
deleted.
yes,
Yeah, that's because this idiot didn't realize save was F something.
yeah. Oh, oh.
And so I didn't save anything. And so if you haven't read the book, that story's in there. But
Mm.
long story
Yeah.
short, I had worked at least 8 hours, if not more, on this paper over the
Yeah.
weekend. And the kids called on the phone, and I reached over to hang it up, and I hit the button. I hit like escape, or I hit something, and all of a sudden I see my computer rebooting. And
Oh
I was
no.
like, oh no. And so it
Yeah.
rebooted. I'm like, okay.
No,
And
no,
I'm
no.
like, where is my
No.
paper? So a buddy of mine, Rance, he was a computer literate back then. I called him up, and now mind you, not from a cell phone. I was at a apartment, but it was basically a little hotel with a bathroom. And I called him up, and we looked and looked and looked.
Oh man.
Right, dude, it was gone. It was just not
Yeah.
there. So I was up on I was pretty high up. I think I was on the 24th floor, right in downtown Houston. The law school was right around the corner. I was about to jump out the building. I'm like, okay, but I did. So it was I remember being cold. It was a cold day because law school started in January. And in our building was like a little store. But he also did cooking, a hamburger,
Yeah,
fries, whatever. So I went down, and God bless Texas, they got the big 40.
yeah.
Yeah. So I grabbed me a big 40 t-shirt because I was sweating and dying. And I literally walked around Houston for a 40. All right. And then I come back, go back upstairs, turn the computer back on, and I see Paul's
Oh
paper,
man.
dude. And I
Oh
clicked on
man.
it.
Oh
There it
man.
was.
Yeah.
You can
Oh.
you until the day I die, and when I get up to heaven, God willing, I'm
We'll
a
say
high
thank
five
you.
whoever put my paper back on
Yeah.
that computer. So guess what I did immediately? I printed out
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then I saved it. Every sentence, save,
Yeah.
save,
Yeah.
save. Every time
Bro,
I finish
yes.
a paper, I hit print. I'm like, because guess what? If I have to, not
Yeah.
that I had any money, but I could have paid someone to fix it and
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
right.
No.
Yeah, so that was my thank you
Yeah.
Jesus for bringing back my paper,
Yeah.
because to this day I don't know what happened. It was gone. I walked around for a 40,
Mm.
came back, hit the there it was. So I can tell you, I'm sure there must be some computer person out there with a plausible explanation. But I can tell you, I had back in the day a computer guy that looked everywhere for this
Yeah,
paper.
man, that's wild. I think maybe some of our audience can relate because there's an old game called Skyrim that before they patched it didn't have, you had to manually save, and they would, I mean, you're talking like people would spend hours and acquire the intricate armor and like all these little doodads, and like, and then it would just, you would randomly die from something and it would send you all the way back. All the way back. Bro, it was heart ripping. Heart ripping. I could only imagine.
But the kicker is, and guess what? Still played
Yeah.
it, even though it took
Yeah.
forever and
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ever. All right. Well, listen, it's a
Yep.
124. That's the Brittany crash. If you get nothing else from this, get yourself rental car coverage now, because it's very cheap. And I got news for you. It will, it will. I don't want to say it could, because the chances of someone not being in a crash in Florida anymore, in my opinion, are like
And
zero, because there's just too many
they're
people.
crazy drivers, bro.
Just too many people. And so if you want to alleviate so much stress, just get yourself in a car. Oh, I'm in a crash. This stinks. Pick up your phone if it's not drivable and you're in a car. Otherwise, you may be out for several days, if not several
Mm.
weeks, without a car. And it's just hard to live in this area, because we don't have buses to
Yeah.
speak of. We
Yeah.
don't have subways to speak of.
Not
You
everything's
can't
in walking
walk
distance. Yeah.
very far to get to your job. So just spend that $10 and say, and when the time comes, you say, thank you, Reed and Reed. Best thing I ever heard in
There
my
you
whole
go.
life.
There you go.
Right.
All right.
That's all I
On
got
that
for you.
note, I'll take us out.
Take us out and get to church Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.